at Equity Residential, they'll tell you like, as a service manager, as a general service director, we'll manage different properties and we'll have different service teams under our belt. But I like to say that instead of saying we manage properties, we manage people, because 80% of our job is managing people, how they feel and their schedule, and the other 20% is actually like managing the work portion and completing the work. What I'm most passionate about in my role is that I get to develop people. I'll have service technicians that come in green, not even knowing how to work a drill, and I'll be able to work with them and teach them different skills, how to conversate with residents, just develop their confidence in skills and talking to people, and just seeing how they move from apprentice to service technicians to senior service technicians to eventually making it to that management position of service manager. I started off with a construction company that used to build for Equity Residential, and I used to do everything from installing floors to installing appliances to cleaning countertops. And one of the regional managers at the time was like, hey, like, you have a great attitude, do you want to work for Equity Residential? I applied, and I started off as technically an apprentice, moved into the service technician role, and I had 3 different service managers that really like showed me how to talk to residents, because before that was like my biggest fear. I was really good at fixing stuff, but I couldn't hold a conversation that like saved my life. And eventually like they would take the time and be like, hey, like, if you ever want to be a manager, you gotta hold these conversations. You gotta, not just with the team, but with the residents, with the office team. So I started getting more comfortable in being uncomfortable, and that was a day and night change for me. After that, I got promoted into a senior service technician role. I did that for a year and a half, and then I got promoted into a smaller property service manager. And then from there, I went service manager. I took over a bigger property and then got promoted into general service director of 4 different properties that equaled almost 1,000 units. I started off with being curious on how things work, and then I really became passionate in how people work and how to get somebody that started off in the company like me to where I'm at now. My day-to-day is I'll come into the office usually at 8 in the morning, and then I'll check our MRI, the program that tells us who moved out, who's moving in, how many vacant apartments we have. I'll check it. I'll make my notes of how many apartments moved out this week, how many apartments we have moving in at the end of the week. It's my priority, and then I'll go and talk to my general manager, map out my plan for the week, like, hey, this is how many apartments we have, this is how many people I'm gonna have working in apartments. Once we map out that week, I'll talk to him and just pretty much ask her like, hey, is there any residents or resident relations you need me to handle? Once I get all that squared out, I'll talk to my team, I'll see what they need help with, and then see how far along their day are. And if they need any big help, such as like AC issues, or they've ran into things in the apartments where they haven't been able to figure out, I'll schedule it out throughout the day, like usually towards the end of the day when I'm not as busy with resident relations and stuff like that. And I'll just go and either help them troubleshoot it with them or fix it myself. And then from there, I'll just walk vacant apartments to ensure that our make-ready product is ready for new residents or new prospects that are walking to be potential residents. That's what I love about my job, that it's not repetitive. It's not the same thing over and over. Every new day, it's a different challenge. It's a new way to figure something out, how to think outside the box or use your network. And I think that's like a big thing with Equity, that they push us to network with each other, not just our sister properties, but our vendors, our other regions. Me personally, I like to build that rapport with each one of my service technicians, from taking 5 to 10 minutes out of my day to just sit in front of them and be like, hey, how you doing today? What's going on? And their way of bonding is, hey, can you teach me how to look at this AC? Or can you teach me how to replace this part of it? That way we'll get that one-on-one time, and then we'll just go up to either the roof or that apartment and we'll just work together. And I feel like that not only earns the respect that I'm able to like still get my hands dirty even though I'm doing all the admin work, but also like it makes them feel comfortable to come to me just in case they have like anything going on either at home or at work, or they just want to, be heard. Resident satisfaction means everything to me, because not only am I a resident at Equity Residential, but I also lead the force in making them at home. And when you think about it, these are people homes. They're not just apartments and properties. People live here, they raise their families here. So if we could do our part and put our grain of salt in making their lives a lot easier and just helping them through it, we just grow as a company.